Nobody talks about how hard it is to be the only designer in the room. I had a comment a while ago about defending your design decisions. This person just started a new job, so I do want to maintain some anonymity in case their employer catches this, but I can still summarize their issues. They're experiencing the challenges of being the only designer. Their work often gets dismissed or criticized. Other stakeholders are also art directing, which is annoying, but the worst part of it all is that those people giving feedback aren't coming from a design background. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. I've definitely had to overcome similar situations in my career, and my take is that we're not defending our work, we're defending our discipline as designers. So let's talk about how to do that. I'm Tirso, and this is my guide to defending your design decisions. It's kind of hard to address without making assumptions, but generally speaking, it's mostly a confidence issue, and the best way to build your confidence is through communication. There are two languages you need to speak or learn to speak. The first is, of course, the language of design. Outside of actual execution, speaking eloquently about design presents yourself as an expert in the space. But this is mostly for designer to designer interaction. So we need to put focus on the second language, which is the language of the person you're talking to. Our colleagues outside of design pretend that they know what we know. They don't. If they've been working for a while, maybe they've learned a thing or two, but let's just call it what it is. They're just regurgitating information they heard to sound intelligent, because we know you're not talking to us about white space. Overall, their opinion on design is reactive because they don't fully understand the design system that we came up with. So on our end, it's proactive. With that said, we can't go into these conversations talking about the granular details like principles or kerning because we're not there to give a design lesson. So instead, talk about ideas. Yes, plural. And how they address the project brief. If you want to present yourself as an expert, this is your opportunity. Some things you can talk about, or probably should talk about. First, what is it? Just get their attention. Something like, this is a social media execution for whatever project. We already talked about how it addresses the brief. Talk about what's the idea behind each approach. You can talk about how it reinforces the brand's positioning. You can also touch on how it translates if it extends into other executions. If you're going in with these answers, you've not only done your job, you've also done a lot of the thinking for others as well. You also want to go in with some questions so that it turns into a conversation. Some of those could be, I wasn't sure about, so I explored, or I wanted to do this, but there were constraints where it didn't work. Vulnerability is fine as long as your goal is to get to a solution. Believe it or not, other teams don't actually want to take over your designs. They just have ideas of their own, and those ideas need to be heard as well, which brings me to collaboration. That feeling of your designs being taken over and being dismissed comes from one distinction, which is, are you presenting yourself as an executor or a collaborator? If you go into the conversation and say, here's what I did, what do you think? You are basically giving up your authority on design. I find the most effective phrases are, my concept was, or my idea is. You're immediately communicating the thought you put into the work. It is highly unlikely that sales and marketing came up with their own concepts. I do have a caveat for this. You will struggle to present this way if you don't follow the design process. And how do I know this? Because those of you that don't follow the design process struggle to present your work this way during an interview. There is some contention with the design process. You have companies like IDEO promoting design thinking, and then you have creative directors like Natasha Jen who begs to differ. When you're just starting out, you have to go by the design process first and then break away after you've mastered it. This is how we get ideas, specifically ideas that answer a brief, and those ideas provide us art direction for the design. Art direction is your authority over the creative because it provides a level of design above a quick brainstorm. By going through the process, you can explain the why behind your ideas, and it's no longer just a matter of personal preference, which means you're not defending your opinion, you are simply explaining your solution to the problem. When it comes to feedback, they may say things like, I don't like this color, or it's too text heavy, whatever have you. These comments can be annoying, but they also provide you insight for future projects. Your internal stakeholders become your clients, and knowing how to design for them removes some unnecessary work in the future. Feedback is a much larger topic, but I do have a whole video versus a half video dedicated to giving and receiving feedback, which I'll link in the corner. Anyway, by addressing their feedback, they feel heard because you listened, and you feel heard because adding white space to your design doesn't take away the fact that it's still your idea. Now, there can be situations where they don't like any of the ideas, which never feels good, but it is still an opportunity to be a collaborator. You can ask directly, what don't you like about it? Their answer is going to vary, but with the design process, you can address most things. If they have other ideas, very easy enough for you to add them to your brainstorm and come up with more ideas. Or you can simply say, I tried something like this and it really wasn't working, but I can revisit that. Another option, the bold option, is to say, I feel strongly about this design. I would like to try other options that incorporate your ideas into this direction. What this does is communicate two things. You're demonstrating that you care about the work. You would be surprised how many people are just going to tell you, okay, great, run with it. Some of the people you're interacting with may not feel as strongly about the design as you do, and by having an opinion, you're giving them less work to do. You're also speaking with your heart and not your mind, which removes a level of criticism. You're not saying to them, my idea is better. You're saying, I can make this direction work and I want the opportunity to do that. It's going to be really difficult for them to tell you no otherwise. My only caution, if you have the confidence to go in this direction, is that you have to be prepared to over-deliver, because it could be the only moment you have to win them over. As I mentioned, this has a lot to do with your confidence. I know it's not easy to be the only designer on a team, but it is also an opportunity. It's not that you have to, it's you get to. You get to influence the culture of how design is treated in your company. You get to set the standard, you get to control the dynamic, and you get to build your confidence. I hope this answered most of your concerns. The final takeaway is that by using the design process, you get ideas which build authority and hopefully ends up with minimal revisions. However, without the design process, you have options but not really ideas, which forfeits your authority over design, and you end up with constant revisions. Your confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, check out more content on the channel, and I'll see you next time.